Hello and welcome to Beyond the Scale, Weight Loss and Wellness. I'm your host, Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today. Welcome to Beyond the Scale, the go-to spot for all things keto, health, and wellness. I'm your host, Monica. I'm a keto coach, a life coach, and your guide on this journey to a healthier, happier you. Today, we are tackling a topic that can transform your kitchen and your health. Understanding grocery labels and revamping your pantry for a clean keto lifestyle. Whether you're a keto newbie or a seasoned pro, today's episode is packed with tips, tricks, and insights to help you make informed choices and keep your kitchen in tip-top shape. So let's get started. Welcome, Coach Darcy.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
It's great.
It's great.
Just doing great.
It's great to be on the air today. I was excited for this show because if we had questions, if we had to rate our questions from 0 to 10 on, what questions we get asked the most, it's this one today.
It is.
Because it's just, it's going to be a simple show that is just going to give you tips on what to do when you go shopping. So when we get a client that walks through our doors, the first thing they say is, Coach, tell me what to eat and give me a meal plan. And we say, oops, you found the wrong coaching service for that, because we believe that it is our job to train our people on how to fish for themselves. What is that saying? Do you know that saying about fishing? If you give a man a fish, he'll have to come back. If you train a man to fish, he'll never need you again. That's not what that's not what it is.
But it works.
But we're going to go with it. So that's what we want to do today, is we want to just give you some simple shopping tips. A lot of people freak out with the term keto, and they're like, we have to buy keto foods. And inside, we coaches giggle at that because there is no keto foods. We eat whole foods. We eat regular God-made foods that our ancestors used to eat. So when they say that we're a fad diet, we just say, okay, no, we're eating how our ancestors did.
We give them a thumbs up and smile and wave. Okay.
We do, and then we say, all right, it's time to listen to this show today. So Hey, Coach Darcy.
Yes,
I have a question for you. Have you ever found yourself staring at food labels in the grocery aisle, wondering, my word, what is keto-friendly? I want you to break this down for us, and I want you to make it personal, okay? So we learn best with stories.
We do.
I want to know what you're looking for when you're going to the grocery store. So I want you to take us from your car through the grocery aisles and kind of talk to us about your journey and what you do. You had a little date that you went on, didn't you?
We did. So when Mark and I started, and we did this together, Mark was like, well, you're going to be doing the cooking anyway. Ha ha. So I might as well join in with you. And at the time, he didn't think that he had much weight to lose. But let me just tell you, he lost 65 pounds through this whole process. So having that support alongside, we had to go to, we have date night. So we went to the store and we walked up and down every single aisle, just picking up all the things that we used to eat on a regular basis, like a month ago previous. And we'd be like, oh man, like the first ingredient being canola oil and then the next ingredient being sugar. And it was a really, it was a teaching moment for Mark and myself, obviously, but just to kind of have that realization that, wow, like nothing is really truly clean, and there's a lot of things that we can't pronounce. So as we did that, we were very discouraged, but then we had the lessons of Coach Monica in the program of where to shop. So what we did was then we, you know, the next time we went to the grocery store, we followed that. We went on the outer aisles. That is your safe space. The only ones that you obviously need to look out for are if you're on the outer aisles, are if your bakery's there or if the cake shop. Those don't count. So don't be thinking, oh, it's on the outside. But be careful because also the deli can get you. The deli is a great place that we like to go to get our cheeses. And we don't actually get a whole lot of our meats there because most of them are processed. They are created with honey or they are created with sugars of all sorts. Dextrose being the top meat sugar. Coach Monica will go into that a little bit more. But we needed to, as we walk around, we're going to obviously have our vegetables and our fruits. So that is going to be your safe space. And we also have to be careful about the things that, the nutrition labels are not easily accessible. So usually if they're not easily accessible, then it's probably like you're going to either have to say, man up and not man up. I don't know what that phrase is, but you say, hey, can I see the nutrition label for this piece or this chicken? So that is the next thing is, when you do venture into the middle aisles, the importance of knowing where to look on those on that package is really important. Yeah, you're going to have that box that has a nutrition label and it's going to say have everything and the numbers and it's going to show you how much carbs is in it. And oh, coach, it's only got this many carbs, so it must be keto friendly. Well, wrong. So the next place that we try to teach you where to go is looking underneath the nutrition label. And sometimes it's like a treasure hunt to find where they actually put those ingredients. Sometimes it's on the side of it, but it's labeled under other ingredients. That there, my friend, is where you need to look for what is actually in that food. So the key ingredients such as high quality fats, low net carbs, and minimal additives is what you are looking for. And in the order of the process, if the canola oil and sugars are at the beginning part, then you want to put it back. That is not okay. If it's, may have some sort of like sucralose at the bottom, that's very minimal. So, also if you can't read it, you probably know that it's going to be some sort of preservative or man-made synthetic ingredient that you again should just put it back. And I'm going to keep repeating myself on this one, but your safer areas is going to be on the outer skirts. So you've got your basic meats, your basic veggies, and your berries, things like that.
So Darcy, I want to ask a question here. So what I'm hearing you say is you can't be perfect, right?
No, right.
And so a lot of times people they're all or nothing people. I think of our mom,
Yeah.
as an example. All or nothing. If it can't be perfect, then I can't eat it. But what I'm hearing you say is you're looking at the nutrition label. So you're looking at those numbers, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what those numbers mean. But you're also looking, the number one thing you have to look at is what is next. And when you're saying, okay, I'm holding 2 pieces of, say, deli meat. Let's say we found, some pretty clean deli meat.
Yeah.
And let's say that there's dextrose in both of them.
Yes.
And we don't do dextrose, but there's dextrose as a second ingredient in the first one and the last ingredient in the second one you're holding. Which one of those would you get? Or would you say, I have to be perfect, I can't have anything?
Well, no, because then we'd be woe is me, and that's not what we want to be.
No.
Hey, that all rhymed. That's great. No, I would definitely go with the one that the dextrose is towards the bottom. And if there is an organic option, definitely, and if you are willing to, invest in that, then definitely go with the organic version. But we'll talk a little bit more about what my knowledge is about organic a little bit later. But we want to go with the ones that have a lot less ingredients. You want the wholesome, clean ingredients first. And then if it's like the 80-20 rule, like if you're 80% on point and then that 20% you can't help it.
Yeah.
But then go ahead.
I feel like I feel like I just had one of those a director's idea
Oh,
because it seems like in every show we have a soapbox moment.
oh,
I feel like we need a marketing person to create us a commercial about a soapbox and we
oh
play the
yeah.
soapbox introduction right before we do it. Wouldn't that be cool?
I liked your sound effect the last episode that
Oh
we
yeah,
did though, like there's my
I got
soapbox,
I
but you
got
need
it
to put it
out.
back because
Oh,
I'm not
all right.
ready to stand on it yet.
It's back.
So we're gonna look at the common pitfalls. Um, and this okay, my soapbox might come out a little bit sooner than I thought.
It's right under the desk. We
It's
can pull it
right
out.
under there.
Yeah.
Um, but it's the common pitfalls when you are in a grocery store. If you're walking down the aisle and all of a sudden you say, "Oh, it looks like it says keto friendly on it."
Oh, hold on. We got to get it
Okay, all
out.
right,
Hold
get
on.
it.
Yeah.
So this is one of the most frustrating things that I think I just I can't handle because companies see a fad diet, and this is goes for any out there. I know paleo and people that are gluten free, all these all these other diets, they too
They go
go
through it.
through the same thing because they see money. That's all they see. So they say zero sugars added, or low carb or no carb, or only two net carbs, all of those things. All of those things I always pick up the because I always pick it up because as a macro coach, I want to see what is luring our clients in.
My
What
family will not shop with me anymore in Costco.
Hmm,
They're
no,
embarrassed.
we should shop together, honestly, because
They would kick us out.
we would probably they would kick us out. But I go through little rants in my head of like, how is organic sugar cane keto friendly? This
How
is
do you
not keto.
how do you keep it
No,
in your head?
I don't.
It would
Exactly.
come out my mouth and
Yes.
then we'd be shown the
Well,
door.
and then the next one is like when you flip over and it says low carb bread and it says keto friendly, keto bread. It has keto bread in the
First
title. And
ingredient
the first
is
wheat.
if
If
it
it
has
has wheat,
wheat,
we
we
do
do not
not eat.
eat.
No. So put it back. Don't fund them because they didn't go through KM Health Coaching's coaching
There is
program.
no keto certification, folks.
No, there's
There is
not.
none.
No. So now I'll step down gradually for a little bit off of this
I'm
soapbox.
going to
But
keep the box out.
oh, for now or now?
Yeah, I'm just
Oh,
going to put it beside me
okay,
because I'm going to
okay,
just jump on
okay,
here.
okay. So to sum all of this up, when you go to the grocery store, the best bet for you, don't get overwhelmed. Keep it simple. That is why I'm going to go back to the very beginning of what I talked about is start from the outside of the grocery aisle. That is your safe zone, except for the bakery section and somewhat of the deli. But besides that, and then even the dairy, because you got to know what you're looking for, but keep it simple.
Yeah.
And then Whole Foods are your best friend. But the biggest help for when you are overwhelmed is take a meal plan from the coach. And with our program, we have meal plans. Even though we don't like to give them out, we still give them an idea of what you can buy at the grocery store that
And
you can
even
make at home.
a better tool even than a meal plan, which we do have those that include grocery lists and include your specific macros. It's an incredible nutrition program that we have.
Yeah.
But even a better tool is taking your keto Bible with you.
Yeah.
We have it downloadable into your phone. We have it. We have a printout. We have a publisher that you can get a nice, pretty copy. That keto Bible has a section on everything you can eat and everything you need to stay away from. And I always tell my people, look at what the things that we need to stay away from, because that is what you need to get your scanny eyes. If you remember the Mr. Potato Head and Mrs.
Yeah.
Potato Head,
Yeah.
you need your scanny eyes because that book that we have written is going to give you the ingredients of what you need to stay away from. And then you look at what can I eat? What can I eat?
Right. Exactly. And it's your BFF. It's going to be amazing. So Monica, tell us, now that we've talked about the reading the labels, and we could go into more depth, but there's not much more that we could hash out on that one. But what are some of those red flags about the other ingredients? Like what ingredients should our listeners avoid to stay on track with clean keto, because we've got that whole dirty thing of keto where people like, oh, this works for me. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It might work to a point, but then you're going to run into an issue of things that we talked in some other episodes of stalling.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But let us know what are some red flags to
Yeah.
to
Well,
look for.
ingredients matter, and that's the difference between when people say, "Well, dirty keto works for me," and yes, you're exactly right. It'll work for a while, but there is a reason why we choose not to eat some ingredients, including some whole food ingredients. Ingredients do matter, and it is really, really important for you to know why those ingredients matter, and we go really, really deep into it during our sessions on why we don't eat wheat, what the insulin response and the glycemic index response is when we do eat those specific ingredients. So ingredients matter.
Yeah.
And because yeah.
Can I just chime in? Because I've heard this statement several times right now. For some reason, a lot lately. Well, God ate it, or not God ate it. God made it, so I'm going to eat it, right?
Right.
So that whole thing, right?
Right.
We'll pinpoint on that on my response, unless we have time for me to say what I think about that.
Go for it.
All right. So the thing, and this will go nicely into what you're going to talk about next. But my response is, well, yes, God created fruits and vegetables and plants around us, but man or scientists enhanced them to be much larger and bigger than what they were
Sweeter.
when he first created them. So we overeat, and we are eating sweeter apples, things like that, because scientists have messed with the genetics in those fruits and vegetables.
Yeah,
So
you look at
it's
a
not the same.
banana over in another country and a banana here, and
Yes.
you have two completely different fruits with two completely different glycemic indexes.
Yeah.
And glycemic index is where it all stems down to in the ketogenic lifestyle. This is why these ingredients impact your metabolic health. It impacts getting you into ketosis because of the glycemic index. In the presence of insulin, you cannot lose weight. Okay. And so every time your glycemic index spikes, it tells your pancreas, hey, we need some insulin. We need some, she's eating something really, really sweet. We need to release some insulin. And so there's massive insulin being released into the system. And that's why when you get the term insulin resistance, you're making more insulin than your body's using. So it's storing it as fat. And so ingredients matter because of that glycemic index response. I have watched a couple of TikTokers in the study of glycemic index where they wear a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor. And I have seen one where they have done like a plantain or a banana from another country, and one here. The insulin spike is outrageous over here. I went to the store and I was looking at grapes. They almost are the size of apples now. Like,
Yeah.
they're monstrous.
And
like,
they taste like cotton candy. Like, that's not right.
That's not right.
It's not normal, people.
So,
it's not.
So when you're talking about your metabolic health, these things do matter. And when you talk about getting into the state of ketosis, it matters. You cannot get into the state of ketosis if you're eating more than 20 to 30 carbs in a day. And so what we want our clients to do is we want our clients to start burning their own body fat as fuel and start creating ketones in their body, because that's the brain's preferred source. The energy that you experience when you're in ketosis, the fat loss that you experience because your body's burning its own fat. This is the only lifestyle where you can go to sleep and your body's burning its own body fat, right? And
That's
so
amazing.
the ingredients that you choose when you go to the grocery store, they matter. If it has wheat, we do not eat. Wheat will spike your insulin, spike your glucose, and it will keep that's the other impact of these things is it keeps your insulin spiked, or it keeps your glucose spiked. And in a constant state like that, it's constantly releasing insulin. And so we are looking for low, short spikes, not big, long spikes. And that's what a lot of these ingredients have. But since I kept my my soapbox out here, I'm going to step up here and we're going to talk about the political and the marketing aspect, okay? There is a reason why the beautiful boxes are on the end caps. There's a reason why your foods are stuffed with this poison called maltodextrin. I'm just going to use that one. There are so many. There's
So
like
many.
98 different.
98.
I think it's gone up over 100 now in terms of sugars.
Yes.
But what happens is these lobbyists and these people who want to take shortcuts, they want to make fillers because it's cheaper to make a product if they throw maltodextrin in it. Maltodextrin has a higher glycemic index than table sugar. But because of lobbyists, because of a corrupt government system and a corrupt system in general, these lobbyists have paid the politicians to say, oh, let's slap a sugar-free label on this. So our diabetic clients who are thinking that they're doing so wonderful because a product is called sugar-free and it's packed with maltodextrin are doing more damage to their body than if they had a sugar cube in their hand. And this is guided and driven by K Street, by lobbyists, by politicians who want to pad their pockets and say, oh, sure, highest bidder gets this sugar-free label. Have you ever seen, Darcy, this makes me crazy. And I think it's talked about in the book, the Dorito effect. I know it's talked about in a lot of the books, but when you go down the cereal aisle in particular, the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Association, and approved foods on these cereals that literally do the opposite of what their organization stands for. The American Diabetes Association, you know what? They pay lots of money to put this label on a fake box of whoever has the highest bidder gets to put this American Diabetes Association label on a box that is actually killing their people.
And a lot of these seem to be passed because of one research paper that was done, and it was believable enough. And the money spoke. So usually a lot of things that we have come up with is because of one researcher.
Yeah. Well, there was one that I just saw not too long ago. I think it was against beef. It was against beef, and it was talking about the heart problems that beef caused. You know who it was sponsored by? The Vegan Association. So you always have to look in these research, papers that they say who is actually sponsoring them. Oh, vegans. Of course they're going to sponsor that. So you really have to watch what are on the end caps, the colors of the packaging. Right now we're headed into Valentine. Or no, we already went there. Yeah, Easter is next.
Yes. Easter.
It's the biggest struggle for our clients is the packaging. When you look on the end caps, those people pay extra to be on there. You are marketed to from the parking lot into the store. You're marketed to, and you are being told what to eat.
Because when you first walk into that area, that's what is on sale that week too.
Oh,
if it's new, it's going to be on sale already.
Yeah,
because they want you to buy it. They wanted to get you hooked.
Yeah. Yeah,
pretty colors.
You talked a little bit about the food labeling. So training our eyes to go from looking at the numbers to the ingredients. Here is the thing that you need to know when you look at these food labels. The FDA, the food labeling regulations from the FDA allow for a 20% margin of error. For anything that says there's a certain amount of carbs, calories, or sugars in it, there could be up to 20% more. Under the law, they're allowed to have a 20% discrepancy. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
But do you think that it's not only just for, the regular foods that we have. This is also for the organic things too.
Yes. Yes.
Like
I'll never forget. I visited a friend in Washington, and she had an organic farm. Mm-hmm. And she said, Monica, this isn't an organic farm. We don't spray our fields, but the farmer next door sprays his fields, and it comes into ours. She can't do anything about it, but she's allowed to label herself as organic. It's not organic.
No. It's the same dirt.
It's the same air, the same dirt.
And if they are, flying over and spraying the crops too, like that stuff goes everywhere. It doesn't just hit the crops. Where do you think it's going?
Yeah. So the regulations that are on our farmers and the things that they're allowed to get away with is just breathtaking.
Yeah. And some of them are where, they have to be, some of these like homegrown organic farmers have to be, they can't be next to a farm that does spray because they can't be considered organic. But these big wig companies like Kashi, like somehow they slide through and be able to call themselves organic and clean, even though they have like little. I'm not just calling out Kashi. There's a lot
Yeah.
more
Oh, there
other.
is. It
There's
is.
so many more. And some of those organic people companies are owned by like big companies like Coca-Cola. So it goes a lot deeper.
Oh,
And
it's deep.
it's like this political world that, you thought you were
I
done
thought
with
I left.
politics,
I thought
but
I had left.
actually when we entered into this world of, the big wig M word company that I won't say on here,
Yeah.
because they have their hands in everybody's pockets,
Oh yeah,
and vice
I went to
versa.
DC. I went to DC one time
Yeah.
to talk to my new congressman, and you know where I stand politically, and
Yeah.
probably everybody that listens to me knows where I stand politically, and I'm not even sorry about it. But I'm not for banning anything. Like I'm more libertarian. The older I get, the more libertarian I get. But so I'm not for banning anything. So I went to DC to talk to my congressman and say, listen, I'm not asking you to ban anything. Maltodextrin is banned in 11 countries. There's a reason why you went to Paris, didn't gain an ounce, and you
Nope.
ate very well there.
Yes.
Because our food is different in other countries.
I
So
actually lost 5 pounds.
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
It's absolutely crazy. So, all right, I'm not about banning anything. If you want to ban it, okay, that's fine. But at least tell the truth on the labels.
Yeah.
At least can we get control over the labeling, because our people want to do the best they can. They want to feed their body health. Did you know there's 98 different names of sugars? And over half of those are labeled sugar-free.
Yeah.
You know, the
Aspartame.
maltitol, the aspartame,
Yeah.
the dextrose. Oh, and like you said, cane sugar? No, honey,
Yeah.
that is sugar.
Or organic. Like, it doesn't
Organic.
matter.
No.
Tapioca syrup.
Yes. Yes.
Woo!
Maltodextrin has a glycemic index of 135, table sugar is 65. That is how bad it is. So what
Yeah.
I want you to label maltodextrin as sugar. That's what I want.
Yes.
Note to my congressman, Mr. Yackham. That's
You
what
know, I
want.
was wondering, like, how many of these Congress people even know about this? Because when I was diving deeper before keto into the other M word company that I was talking about, the genetically modified foods, I learned that most of these people don't even know.
They
They
don't.
just see it as food. They are like, why does this even matter?
It's like-
matters.
It's like doctors and nutrition. They've taken 1 hour of
Yeah.
nutrition training, so
Yeah.
they don't. And okay, as a responsible lobbyist, former lobbyist, recovering lobbyist, it's my job to inform my congressman about this. That's why I made the trip to go talk to him, and that's why I raise my hand at every town hall he has and says, let me advocate for the health world. That is my job as a responsible citizen is to do that, and
Yes.
I do, and I have committed to that. Not on behalf of me, but on behalf of all of our clients who we represent.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a political aspect to these nutrition labels.
Can you
sure.
talk to us about maybe the top, because we know that there's 98 different types of sugars. And let's talk about the seed oils. Like, tell us about like the top seed oils, the top sugars that you would be like, "Oh, listen, Linda, this is not
Listen, Linda,
this is
listen.
not okay."
So there are some top ones in the seed oil, and seed oils are we should probably devote a whole show to seed oils, because I was listening to Ben Azadi's podcast. He had a leading cancer researcher, and he asked her, and I wish I knew the podcast title, but he asked her, what is more dangerous, smoking or seed oils? And when we talk about seed oils, we're talking about vegetable oil, canola oil, sesame oil. What's some more? What are some more seed oils?
There's rapeseed oil.
Grapeseed oil. Basically anything you can't squeeze and oil come out,
Yeah.
And they have to process it. They have to refine it. Any of those, the inflammatory factors of those alone are enough to stall your weight loss. Now, try to go down the salad dressing aisle at the store and find something without canola oil or vegetable oil or corn oil. You can't.
Good luck.
You cannot. And that is very frustrating, but it's cheap to make, because look at all of the corn, look at all of the machines and the processing. It takes a lot of money to make olive oil. It takes a lot of money to make avocado oil. So those would be the top, the seed oils. If you get those out of your life, number one, you're going to feel better. Your joints are going to start feeling better, because the inflammatory properties of seed oil alone are enough to cause you to gain 10, 15 pounds right there.
It's funny though with when people are, let's say that they are the dirty keto or whatever, and they are not as strict on those seed oils. They complain about, I'm keto, but I still feel achy. I still feel inflamed. And the answer to that is because of these seed oils.
It's the seed oils. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always check with my clients. Like I say, hey, if you're feeling achy like this, are you making sure that you're looking at your ingredients?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when they remove it, they start feeling better. We've seen the relief of arthritis, of lupus, all of those metabolic issues when they get rid of the seed oils and the sugars. So yeah, and in the sugar field, maltodextrin. Everybody who's listening to us, go to your cupboards and see what products have maltodextrin. You're going to be shocked to find pretty much every powdered ingredient, ranch dressing, everything has maltodextrin. Remember what I said about the sugar, the glycemic index of those. Dextrose is another one that's confused. Dextrose is the first ingredient of table salt. I was on Facebook this morning and was looking at a post that I had seen of a friend, and she had posted what was it, Sweet and Low, and the first ingredient of Sweet and Low is dextrose. That's sugar. First ingredient of salt is sugar. That's why we tell our clients, you go for the pink salt. You get rid of that table salt. Yeah.
There are some good salts out there, but you also have to think like the table salts, but you also have to think of, well, it's really white, so it's really processed.
Really refined.
And there's probably micro plastics in those as well. So if there's not sugar in it, there's going to be microplastics.
Yeah. If it says sugar-free, it's probably not, folks. Probably not.
Yeah.
Now, we have our recommendations. We love allulose. We love monk fruit. We love swerve. We love erythritol, stevia, those kinds of things. So we'll do a whole show on sweeteners, I think. So the benefit of choosing these clean ingredients is metabolic healing. It is it's weight loss, right? And calories. Ingredients is what I'm trying to say. Ingredients matter. They really do. So when you take the time, I encourage my clients, hey, go take 2 hours, block off 2 hours and just go roam the aisles. Roam the aisles. Here's the thing you got to know though. Just because you find a clean ingredient, you got to check it every once in a while because ingredients change and companies change. Hey, when we come back, Darcy, we're going to talk about your amazing pantry and how mine is not amazing. But we're going to come back in about a minute here, and we're going to wrap all of this up in a big bow and talk about how do you bring the stuff home? You got clean ingredients. What do you do with it when you get it home?
Yeah.
Are you tired of those pounds that just won't come off? Are you ready for a real change? Dive into KM Health Coaching's signature weight loss program and start transforming your relationship with food and your body today. In just 3 months, you can shed those stubborn pounds and break free from emotional eating. With personalized coaching, a supportive community, and our breakthrough technology, you're set for success. Imagine weekly sessions tailored just for you, a group system where you can grow together, and technology that tracks every triumph. It's all here at KM Health Coaching. Now, exclusively for Beyond the Scale listeners, use code Beyond the Scale for $25 off. Start your journey to healing and happiness right now. Visit us, use the code Beyond the Scale, and embark on your wellness journey with KM Health Coaching's signature weight loss program. Your new beginning starts right now. All right, welcome back. I love this show because we're putting tools in the hands of people who are like, gosh, I want to do this. I want to get started. I just don't know what to do. When I go to the grocery, I'm overwhelmed. If you are that way, we are happy to walk with you through this. We have a 3-month program that takes you from 0 to keto, and you will be a professional by the end of the 3 months. The actual program is 8 weeks, and then we continue our coaching into 3 months. And so if you are like, gosh, I've been doing it all wrong. Perhaps it's time to grab a coach's hand and just say, hey, take me through 3 months. Typically, Darcy, do our clients lose about 25 pounds in our eight week program, about 25 to 30 in our 3 month program?
Yes.
Yeah.
About that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
do think
and
that.
plus you get all the knowledge. And once you get the knowledge, then you are eligible to do any of our programs. You have to go through that basic program because we want to teach you how to do it the right way. So, Darcy, this is kind of a segment that I'm jealous about because I realize how your life looks completely different than mine. I have kind of a chaotic life here, work balance, grandbaby now. I've just got a lot going on. So
Empty
my
nester
life,
house.
it's an empty nester. You would think that would
Yeah.
be the calm, sunsetting season. It's not. It's like not. So, but you do manage to do momming, and you have this beautiful pantry. And I know our clients think, cleaning out the pantry can feel daunting.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be. And I'm going to be the opposite example of the one that you're going to give. And I'm going to give you, because my people are out there too. My people are, cheers to my people of chaos.
Right.
We're going to sit, my people, I want you to grab your seat, because we're going to sit and we're going to listen to Darcy's people for a while. We're going to talk about how they can have an amazing pantry and kitchen experience. So talk a little bit about what you do.
Well, just to be clear, I have 2 young boys, so there is nothing but chaos in my house. But they're still young enough to be able to kind of, be told what to do. And then they kind of follow. And they are not keto. They're keto-ish, but they're not very keto. So when we did this journey, we had to separate. We had to basically separate our brain from, like, okay, what are things that we can add that are not keto to things that we make that are keto? And it's usually just pasta or bread. So we have that stuff set aside. Um, so we have our pantry set up to where everything that is theirs is on this particular shelf, and it's where it's not at eye level for me, but it's eye level to them. So I have it separated for like keto products, baking keto products, our snacks for keto that we have, like our pork rinds, things like that. And then theirs is again at the bottom. I don't look at it. I load it because I organize it, but I don't look at it. That's theirs. But it's like my method of stocking my pantry is this. So if if life gets super busy, ball games happen, if there's dance, all these things for your kids, even if you have grown teenagers, you still are busy. You don't have necessarily the time to go to the grocery store. So what I do is I do what is called my Y2K pantry. Mark doesn't get it until he does. Like, so for example, like Mark doesn't understand why I overbuy, and then when we run out of things, then it's like, oh, well, we just don't have to go to the store now because, hey, look, I've got a backup. And usually doing that also helps you save money because you usually get it when it's on sale. So those are some little tidbits. But it's my Y2K pantry. And what I do is I make sure that my pantry is stocked up with things that I know are quick go to recipes that my family will eat, that Mark and I go to and eat, which will have like, for example, like a clean can, because not all canned chicken in water it has junk in it. It has preservatives in it. So I tend to buy the more expensive one in the bag. I think it's Nature Farms or Natural Farms or something like that. But if you do get the canned chicken, then just rinse the chicken off. I know this stuff's still in there, but you're not eating all the preservatives that it's sitting in. You get tuna with water base, bone broth, pork rinds, mayo. I usually go with Chosen Foods or Sir Kensington, and it's kind of like what we talked about before. Not all brands even have are equal because they have, like, if it's a certain flavor, then they might have the dextrose in it. They might make it with a certain oil that you don't consume. But I know that Sir Kensington has an avocado based mayo. Um, you know, and again, you always check anyway. I may say that now, but they might add another ingredient to it that doesn't make it good. Then we've got like canned vegetables, like canned spinach. maybe some, I don't know if I don't think they do canned broccoli. That would be really gross. Then
Ugh.
you go with your frozen. Then you're going to stock your freezer with these things. Maybe even think about having, a bottle of shredded Parmesan that's shelf stable, things like that. You always have an extra. And then thinking about possibly looking into buying a farm raised cow or a pig or chicken and have that in and prepared or in your freezer. So you can even stock up not just your pantry, but you can also stock up your freezer where there are certain things that are just freezer stable. If you buy extra cheese, you can put that in there. Tons of things so that you do not find yourself stuck of being like, oh man, I am so busy. I don't have time to go to the grocery store. And then you can go into your pantry and have those things available. You know what type of recipes that you can combine to do those things. Like, for example, I'm just giving you an example of what I would do if I would go to my pantry. What would I make if I had cheese available and I had a canned chicken? You could either do canned chicken salad or you can make those chicken nuggets,
Mm-hmm.
this, air fried chicken nuggets, really quick and easy. Then you're not going through a drive through. You've got everything available at home. So talk about your opposite pantry, Monica.
Yeah. So I I love that you can do keto and be simple and boring, and you can put a fancy bow on it and you can eat like a king. And I have learned in my lifestyle with everything that's going on, I have learned to fall in love with simple. I know that if I got bored, I could make a fantabulous keto mac and cheese. I know I could do it. I don't want to do it. I don't have time to do it. But I know that if I wanted to, I could. So I find safety in that. And I find comfort in that. But probably for lunch today, I'm probably going to. It's about 12 o'clock when we're recording this. I'm probably going to go into the kitchen, and I have some egg life wraps, and I have some pre-shredded cheese that I've shredded. I'm probably going to make myself a simple quesadilla in the air fryer. It's going to take me 3 minutes to do. Um, I have found safety in being simple, and I have found comfort in that. And so there's some days that I'm like, I don't know what to make for dinner. I'm just going to go have an omelet. I've got so I keep a staple list, kind of like you said, except mine's probably just not as fancy as yours, of eggs and cheese and some sort of protein.
We go
My
through a lot of eggs.
A lot of eggs, a
A
lot of
lot of
eggs. We
eggs.
go through at least 2-3 dozen a week,
Yeah.
just with the two of us. And so I've just found comfort in that, knowing that number one, I'm not going to gain the weight back. I lost 120 pounds. I want to keep that off because I've found safety in being simple, and I'm okay with that. Knowing that if I ever get bored, I am going to make the extra effort to do something fancy. And I do. And I live with somebody who is not that way. And so I always have to keep in mind that I do have to make some things for him. I'm just you slap a steak on my plate, I'm fine. I don't even need anything to go with it. Like he needs something to go with it. So I have to be very conscious and caring of him that he needs a veggie with it, right?
Yes,
I don't
right.
need that. So finding simplicity. So we want to encourage you today. We know that it can be overwhelming to go grocery shopping. However, the only thing that we are missing in our lifestyle, that would counter everybody else is we don't buy the prepackaged stuff. So we do have to work a little bit harder. We've gotten rid of the processed foods that were killing us.
Isn't homesteading a new trend though?
It
Like
is.
you could
Yeah.
just dive into your homesteadingness
Yeah. Tap
and,
into it.
tap into it.
Yeah. And when the cool thing is when you get rid of those prepackaged things and those things that are killing us, you start to feel better. Your mind starts to clear. You lose the brain fog. You lose the pain in your joints because you're not eating those inflammatory oils anymore. So you've got that kind of energy and gasoline behind your journey of, I don't want to feel like crap anymore. So I'm willing to take an extra 5 minutes to skip the prepackaged stuff and actually make something that's going to nourish my body. And when you start looking at what you eat as medicine and feeding your body, fueling your body versus just surviving, it's a whole different outlook in life.
Absolutely.
Whole different outlook. There's no such thing as a keto certification or keto foods, guys. There's just not. It's whole foods. Now, are there some things that, say I'm going to go on a trip and I need a little bit more convenience? Are there ever any times that I have that quote, air quote, keto bar or keto granola or something like that? Yes, there are times for that. So we're not opposed
80-20.
Yeah, 80-20.
Yeah.
We're not opposed to those things. Every once in a while, but the majority of the time, we want you eating whole, healthy foods. And we also want you to understand what to look for first. I want your eyes to be so trained that when you pull our keto Bible out, you know those ingredients so much that it's like those words jump out, and it's like they're highlighted and they jump out. First thing I see when I look at a nutrition label, my first scan is maltodextrin.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have this level of things, and then I go through the seed oils. What does it have? 9 times out of 10, I'm putting that item back on the shelf.
Right.
It's frustrating. It's maddening. It really is. We'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Any closing thoughts for today? Any questions? If you have any questions, by the way, please message us. Our contact information is in the show notes. We would love to hear from you if there's a show that you want to hear. But if you have any questions that we haven't maybe clarified on air, please let us know. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for leaving us a review. It really, really helps our algorithm. And share this with your family and friends. Share this with people you know and help us grow this podcast so that we can help more and more people. Darcy, do you have any closing thoughts?
I just say don't get discouraged. Like I said several times in the beginning of this, your safe zone is always going to be on the outer side.
Mm-hmm.
So
or
you got
farm.
this.
Or on the farm.
The farm.
You go
Grow.
pick out your own cow.
Become a farmer and grow your vegetables.
No, I would starve.
At least you know where it comes from. So,
I will go to a farm and pick out the cow that I want, though.
Yes, don't get overwhelmed. You can do this.
All right, guys, we are here every Tuesday. We release a new podcast every Tuesday. So we love that you're a guest of ours. We love what we're doing here. We hope this is helping you. Please let us know if there's anything that you need. And if you are frustrated and tired of dieting alone and you want to change your life, please reach out to Coach Darcy or myself. And we recommend if there was a program to choose, because we've got a lot of programs.
Yeah,
if we were recommending an entry level, we would recommend our signature program, which is the 3-month, because then we can take you through the entire journey through the ups and downs of your journey.
We get to know who you are and what you need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.